Good morning, friends, or afternoon or evening or whatever time it is there for you. Today we're going to do a basic beginner yoga flow. We're going to go through the flow really slow one time, and then we're going to pick up the pace and do it a little bit quicker the second time through. So there's going to be a lot of instruction at the beginning, and then we're going to just kind of get into the flow of it the second time through. So just a couple reminders for this flow. We are going to be using our ujjayi breathing, so in and out through the nose, with that ocean breath sound with a tightness in the back of the throat. Also, I have my blocks here today. You may want them. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can use anything like books or canned goods or small pets, children. Just kidding, don't use those. Books are a great alternative if you don't have blocks. Let's get to it. Come to your mat. We are gonna start just by linking our breath and movement. So come to a comfortable seat, whether that's cross-legged or on your heels like me, and arms down by your side. Just tuning into your breath, palms facing forward. Maybe close your eyes if that feels safe to you today. Just tuning into your body, feeling the breath moving in and out of your lungs. Maybe taking some deep breaths into your belly and your side ribs and your collarbones. And exhaling completely on the exhale. Good. On your next inhale, arms circle down, around, and up, stretching up towards the sky, fingertips spread wide. Exhale, press the air away, palms face the ground, arms come down to your sides. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, pressing away all the way down. Last time, inhale up. This time, exhale, the palms face the ground, hands come forward in front of you all the way down to your mat, finding a tabletop position for our cat-cow. So our shoulders are stacked over our wrists, hips stacked over knees. On the inhale, pressing down through the hands and the knees, we are lifting our gaze straight to the front. Don't crane your neck up here. Lifting the gaze to the front, dropping the sternum in between your shoulders, shining your heart forward, tailbone tips up towards the sky, big arch in your back. Exhale, pressing down through the tops of the feet and the hand, curving the spine towards the ceiling. Exhale all the way out, tailbone pointing towards the knees now. Good. Inhale, lifting the gaze, lifting the tailbone. Exhale, press through the mat, navel to spine, big curve in the back. One more time. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, drop the head, release the neck. Good. Inhale to flat spine. Nice. Curl those toes under. Walk your hands back towards your feet as your knees come up off the ground. Little Achilles stretch here. Good. Press those heels into the mat as you lift your seat all the way up to the ceiling. Big bend in the knees here. Remember, this is our first forward fold of the day, so nice, generous bend in the knees. Just beginning to wake up our hamstrings and our glutes. You can grab opposite elbows, really release your head and your neck. You can shake your head no or nod your head yes if that helps to release. Good. Release those hands back down to the mat, and on the inhale, arms circle down, around, and up, coming all the way up to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, press the air away, hands return to your sides. Nice. Let's step to the front of the mat. Here at the front of the mat, let's find Tadasana. So this is our standing mountain pose. Head nice and lifted, chin parallel with the ground, shoulders stacked over hips, hips stacked over knees, knees stacked over ankles, your feet about hip width apart. Palms rotated towards the front or even a little bit out to the side. Nice relaxed shoulders here. Good, just find your breath really quickly. Nice. And on the inhale, arms circle down, around, and up, meeting overhead. Exhale, fingertips spread wide, arms reaching towards the sides of the room, hinging at the hips, coming all the way down to forward fold, bending the knees, releasing the head and neck. Inhale, come up to half lift. That's a flat back, gazing down at the ground. Hands can rest on the shins here, or they can dangle in front of you, whatever feels comfortable. Exhale, release all the way back down to forward fold. Hands come flat to the mat. You can bend your knees generously here as you inhale to prepare. Exhale, right foot steps to the back of the mat, drop your knee down and uncurl those toes. On the inhale, arms circle down, around, and up, finding your low lunge. So as a reminder, in this position, you really want to make sure your hips are square towards the top of the mat. So if you need to come back out of it a little bit, please do that, and then shift your hips and come forward. You want to think about scissoring your thighs together, if that makes sense. So find that nice square position, then come back down into your low lunge, and when you're ready, arms lift overhead. Biceps by your ears, navel tight to spine, tailbone pointing straight towards the ground, and then find your breath. Nice, you should feel a nice stretch through that front right hip. Good, one more inhale. Exhale, bring those hands down to the mat to frame your front foot. Now listen carefully, we're gonna shift our hips backwards in space as our weight comes onto that right knee. Our left leg is becoming straight. Left foot flexes towards the ceiling. This is a nice half split. It's a great hamstring stretch. We're kind of warming up here because we're going to be doing a lot in our quads and our hamstrings and our glutes today. So if this is too intense for you, please come up. Hands can be on your hips. This is great. And then keeping a nice long flat spine, just hinge forward at the hips. See where you begin to feel that stretch. Find your edge and then stay there. So this is a great place to use your blocks. That's a really nice help right there. Your fingertips can be on the ground or they can stay on your hips, whatever feels comfortable for you here. Just finding a good stretch in that left hamstring. And then of course finding your breath. Nice, one more big inhale here. And on the exhale, you can shift your hands forward again, re-bending that front knee, coming back into a low lunge. Let's find that position again. Arms circled down, around, and up on the inhale, finding your low lunge. Exhale, the hands can come back down and frame your front foot. As you pop that back toe up, left foot goes back to meet right foot as you send your tailbone towards the ceiling to find your downward dog, pressing into your hands through your knuckles, ears between your biceps, deep bend in the knees here as you find your length of spine. Remember, we're going for a flat back here before we try and send our heels to the mat. So find nice length of spine, nice deep breath, big bend in the knees. You can walk out this dog, waking up your Achilles and your calves, and then find stillness. And once you find that length of spine, you can work on pressing your heels towards the ground, seeing if you can get a little bit closer towards straight legs. Good, one more inhale here. And on the exhale, right foot comes forward in between your hands towards your right thumb. Drop the left knee down to the mat and uncurl those toes, coming into low lunge on the right side. When you find your square hips, inhale the arms up overhead, biceps by ears, navel to spine, shoulder blades drifting down the back, nice and relaxed. Good, inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper, finding a good stretch through that front left hip. Nice, one more inhale. Exhale, hands come down to frame the front foot, or you can find those blocks to help you as you straighten the front leg, shifting your weight back onto your left knee. Flex that front foot, so we're pointing those toes up towards the sky. Nice straight leg. We want a flat spine, so if you want to come up, hands on the hips, and then hinge at the waist and make sure we're keeping that tall, tall, tall posture. As we hinge forward, find that good stretch in your right hamstring, and then hold it here. And breathe. Inhale and exhale. Good. Feel free to play here too. If you want to shift your hips side to side, maybe experiment with how that feels in your hip and your hamstring. Sometimes you find little sticky places. Maybe hang out there for a minute. See if you can really stretch into that area. Nice. One more big inhale. And on the exhale, shifting your weight back forward, rebend that front knee. Left toes pop up, right foot goes back to meet left into downward facing dog. Press through the knuckles, sending the hips high to the sky. Good, shake out your head. Nice, inhale, gaze between the hands. Walk the feet forward to find your forward fold. Bending the knees as needed. Inhale, half lift, come up into flat back, gaze down towards the ground. Exhale, release down to forward fold. Inhale, arms circle down, around, and up, all the way up overhead. Exhale, the hands down to your side. Nice. Okay, now we're gonna get going with our Warrior 1 pyramid and Warrior 3 sequence. So we're gonna go through it nice and slow to begin, and then we'll go through it all again a little bit quicker. Here we go. Inhale, the arms circle down, around, and up. Exhale, swan dive down, flat back, send the hips backwards, all the way down to the ground, bending the knees as needed. Inhale, half lift, gaze down. Exhale, refold. Hands come to mat. The right foot steps back, and then the left foot steps back into your plank position or your half plank. Either way is fine. I'm gonna stay in the plank here. We're going down to Chaturanga Dandasana. So either way you wanna do it is totally fine. If you're in a full plank like this, shoot yourself forward on your toes before you lower down to your 90 degrees. If you're in half plank, feel free to lower all the way down to the ground and find your cobra position. That looks like this, just peeling your chest up off the ground using your hands as support. If you're in full plank, we're pressing up to upward facing dog. Toes curl under so you're on the tops of your feet. Navel into spine, supporting your low back. Gaze forward, shoulders pressing down powerfully into the earth. Good, inhale here. Exhale, send the hips to the ceiling, pressing back powerfully through your hands, finding your downward dog. Nice. Now on the inhale, the right foot lifts into the sky for three-legged dog. On the exhale, right knee to nose. And then you can carry your foot, help yourself out a little bit there, or you can step through right foot to right thumb. Your back foot spirals down to the earth flat, pointing 45 degrees towards the front of your mat. Now your feet in this position, before we rise up, we want to make sure we're railroad track stance. That means they're about hip width or maybe even a little wider apart on the mat. So you can send your right foot towards the right side a little bit more if that feels good, or your left side to the left a little bit more. Whatever feels good for you to allow space in this stance. So once you have your feet set, on the inhale, bend that right knee, arms sweep up to the sky, biceps by your ears. Warrior 1. So we're pressing down through our feet. All four corners of that back foot are finding the mat. Feel power through your heel. That right knee stacked over the right ankle. And you can adjust your stance here. If this is too wide, pop that left foot forward a little bit. That's great. In this position, your tailbone is really sinking straight down towards the mat. Your abs are zippering up and in. Nice support for that lumbar spine. Really tall posture, making sure your shoulders are nice and relaxed down your spine. Chin parallel with the ground, biceps by the ears. Okay, now do me a favor really quickly. Put your hands on your hips and find where your hips are out in space. Mine are a little bit facing towards the corner here, and that's not what we want. We want our hips square to the front of the mat, just like we were doing in our low lunge. So if it helps, take your hands and adjust your hips so that they're square towards the front of the mat. Once you find that good position, inhale those arms back up by your biceps. Nice. Warrior 1 is a surprisingly challenging position, so you're doing good work here. Good, one more inhale. On the exhale, bring your hands back down to your hips. Now listen carefully, we're gonna straighten our front leg here. So we have two straight legs. We don't wanna lock out the knees, so keep a micro bend in that front knee as we do this. We're moving into pyramid pose. So from here, we're gonna find nice length of spine, grow really tall on the inhale. On the exhale, keep that flat back as you hinge forward with your hips. Hands can stay right there on your hips as well. You're gazing towards the ground to keep a nice long spine from your hips out the top of your head. Good, and when you're finding a big stretch in your hamstring, as soon as you feel that stretch, you can find your edge and then stop. So if we're up here, that's perfect. If you're a little bit lower, that's great too. This is an excellent place for blocks. Ooh, I love blocks in this position. Good, so again here, the goal is to square your hips towards the front of the mat. So you wanna think about scissoring your thighs together, really rotating that left thigh in towards the center line. And same with the front thigh. Rotate that front thigh inward towards your midline, everything kind of hugging towards the center. Good, this should feel really nice on your hamstring. Feel free to bend that front knee a little bit if that feels good. And then of course, find your breath. This is pyramid pose. Now, if you have a little bit more range of motion, you can bring your hands down to the mat. You can have them on your shin or your ankle. As long as you're keeping a nice flat back, feel free to come as low as you want. We just don't want to be all curved over our knee like this because that really takes a stretch out of that hamstring. Nice flat back. Okay, so now from here, from pyramid pose, we're gonna move right into our warrior three. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my blocks. Warrior three is really tough for me. This is a balance position. So if you know that your balance could use some work, maybe prepare yourself with your blocks right away. Otherwise, you can put your hands on the ground, or you can have your hands at prayer and heart. Lots of options here. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. On the inhale, we're gonna bend that front knee and pop the back foot up onto toes. We're shifting our weight onto our right foot. So bring your body forward in space. I'm gonna put my blocks a little bit ahead of me here as we lift that left foot up off of the mat. So we're trying to form a T with our body, if that makes sense. So a long line from our heel out the top of our head. That bottom leg should be straight but not locked. You wanna feel really grounded through all four corners of that right foot right now. The left foot back there is flexed powerfully towards the ground, so you wanna think of pointing your pinky toe towards the ground. Because a lot of times you think we're flexed straight to the ground, but we're actually kind of rotated out to the side. So think about that pinky toe shooting straight towards the ground. Lots of energy out of the heel. You can even think, or actually do this, put your heel against a wall. You can put that foot flat on a wall. Sometimes that's a good little exercise for your warrior three. Now once you have your feet here and your legs here, you wanna think about your hips. So we're dropping that left hip down more than you think you need to. Okay, so our hips are gonna be level with the ground. We're not cocked up sideways like this. We're not open to the left side. Our hips are closed, scissoring again, just like we have been this whole practice, so that they are parallel with the ground. Good, this is really hard to hold, so if you need to drop that leg as we're talking through this, please do that. So we're up here in our warrior three position. So this is great for blocks here. Other hand options, you can actually have your hands on your thighs, hands in prayer at heart. You can have your hands extending down the sides of your body, really pressing your shoulders back down your spine here, or you can extend them over your head. Very challenging position right there. So find what feels good to you, and then hold that for one more breath. Let's inhale here. Exhale. Good, and let's inhale, exhale, rebend that front knee, drop the back foot down to the mat, coming back into our pyramid position. So you can move your blocks back in space, re-straighten that front leg, find your pyramid. Oh, that feels nice. Good, then inhale, let's return the hands to the hips, rebend that front knee just a little bit and come all the way up. Ooh, that was some work. Nice. Now on the inhale, let's circle the arms down, around, and up overhead. Exhale, bend the front knee. Hands can come down to frame the front foot as we send both feet to the back of the mat. Press through the hands, find your downward facing dog, and walk it out. Nice job. Okay, let's go through all that on the opposite side. So inhale, the left foot comes up into the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping that left foot to meet the left thumb. Okay, make sure your stance is wide on railroad tracks. Take that back foot down flat to the mat, 45 degrees towards the front of the mat. Shorten your stance if you need to. I need to a little bit. Keeping that front knee bent, inhale the arms down, around, and up to find your warrior one. Thinking about grounding down through all four corners of both feet. Check your back foot, check your front foot. Check that front knee, how is it bent over that ankle? Now think about your hips, where are they? Do they need to square towards the front? Good, then inhale, firming up those abs, dropping the tailbone down towards the mat. Inhale, thinking about length in the spine. Exhale, shoulder blades drift down the spine. There's so much to think about here. Good. One more inhale. Exhale the hands to the hips. Let's straighten that front leg, coming into our pyramid pose. Inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips, sending the tailbone straight back. Nice flat spine here. Gazing towards the ground, thinking about the long line of energy from your hips out the top of your head. Find your blocks or your mat or your leg, or keep your hands on your hips. Wherever you're at today is perfect. So again, thinking from the mat up, how are your feet doing? Are they grounded? Is your front knee micro bent, or have you locked it out? Make sure it's bent just ever so slightly. Think about those hips. Are they squared towards the front of the mat? Maybe thinking about rotating your thighs in or toward the center line so they're kind of hugging towards each other. And then how's your breath doing? That's always the thing I forget. Oh yeah, I have to breathe. Good, one more inhale. And on the exhale, begin to bend that front knee. Pop that back foot up. Remember, we're shifting our weight forward into warrior three, so you can move your blocks or your hand position forward. As you shift your weight onto that left foot, your right foot rises up into the air, toes pointing powerfully towards the ground. Seeing if you can work towards a T shape in your body. Anywhere your foot is great. If you want to keep your toes on the ground for now, please do that. So we're thinking about micro bend in our left leg, straight right leg, foot flexed, lots of energy through the heel, toes pointing towards the ground. Remember, thinking about that pinky toe reaching towards the ground. Then dropping the right hip more than you think you need to so that it's level with the left. Good, and then what do your hands need to do? Are they good on the blocks? Do you want them in prayer, or on your thigh, down alongside your body, or stretching out overhead? Find what feels good to you today. And then one more big inhale. Exhale, bend that front knee. Drop the back foot back down into your pyramid stance. Moving the blocks back, finding where your hands need to be here. Nice flat spine, gazing towards the ground. Good. Inhale the hands to the hips and rising up. Good. Inhale the arms down, around, and up. Exhale the arms come down. Bend that front knee. Frame your front foot. Both feet go towards the back of the mat. Seat goes high. Downward facing dog. You can walk it out if that feels nice. And it does. Good. Inhale. Bend those knees. Gaze towards your hands. Walk, step, or jump your feet to meet your hands in forward fold. Good. Inhale. Half lift. Flat back. Exhale, releasing down to forward fold. Maybe grab your elbows, sway side to side. Release any tension in your low back. Good, and on the inhale, arms circle down, around, and up, rising all the way up to extended standing pose. Exhale the hands down to your sides and roll your shoulders forward, up, and back. Feels nice. Just taking a couple seconds to breathe here. Nice. So we're going to go through that entire sequence again, just moving a little bit more quickly now that we're familiar with the postures, okay? Here we go. Inhale, arms down, around, and up. Exhale, swan dive down, arms spread wide, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, gaze towards the ground, flat spine. Exhale, release down to forward fold. Hands come flat to the mat. Both feet step towards the back of the mat, come down to half plank or full plank, whatever you choose. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, bending those elbows, they scrape your sides as you lower down. Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, sending those hips high to down dog. Press through your knuckles, press through your heels. Very nice. Inhale, the right foot floats up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to nose, and then right foot finding right thumb. Rotate the back foot down, 45 degrees towards the front of the mat, finding the width of stance that works for you. Inhale the arms up, warrior one, square your hips towards the front of the mat. Nice. Inhale those abs up and in, tailbone down towards the mat. Ground your left foot. Nice. Inhale, length of spine. Exhale, relax those shoulders. Good. One more inhale. Exhale the hands to hips. Straighten the front leg. Moving into pyramid. Inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Coming forward to find your hamstring stretch. Find your blocks or your thigh or the mat with your hands. Good. Ground into that back foot. Left hip yearning towards the front of your mat. Nice. Inhale, get long. Exhale, begin to bend into that front knee as you shift your weight forward. Left foot comes up off the ground. Warrior three. Left foot pointing towards the ground. Left hip dropping to be in line with your right hip. Using the blocks for support or hands in prayer at heart, down your sides, extended overhead, whatever works for you here. Good. One more inhale. Exhale, rebend that front leg. Left foot reaches towards the mat, rotating back down flat. Straighten that front knee, coming back into pyramid. Very nice. Gazing towards the ground, nice flat spine. Good. Move the blocks out of the way if you have them. Inhale the hands to your hips and rise up tall. Exhale. Nice. Inhale, arms down, around, and up. Exhale, bending the front leg. Hands frame the foot. Right foot steps back to meet left. Downward facing dog. Very nice. One more big breath here. Nice. On your next inhale, float the left foot towards the ceiling. Exhale, knees to nose. Left foot finding left thumb. Right foot rotates down flat to the mat. Find your good stance here. How wide do you want to be? On the inhale, arms circle down, around, and up to find warrior one, hips square towards the front. Press those shoulders down. Ooh, it just started raining. Breathe, get nice and tall. Exhale the hands to hips, straighten that front left leg. Good. Inhale, find length. Exhale, hinge at the hips, coming down forward. The rain's really picking up. Find your blocks or your thigh or the mat. I'm gonna stick with the mat this time. Thinking about scissoring those hips towards each other, rotating the thighs in towards the center line. Flat spine. Inhale into the stretch. And then exhale, breathe it out. Nice. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, bend that front knee. Left foot coming up off the ground, moving into our warrior three. Straightening that front leg. Lifting the right leg into the sky, trying to find a T with your body while we're flexing that back foot super strongly towards the ground and then dropping that right hip so that it's in line with the left. Good. Inhale. See if you can press your shoulders down your spine, creating a really long neck. Good. One more inhale here. Exhale, bend the front leg. Right foot finding the mat, rotating back down, coming back into your pyramid pose. Good. Inhale those hands to your hips and rise on up. Exhale here. Good. Inhale the arms down, around, and up. Exhale, bend the front knee. Hands come down to frame the foot. Left foot steps back to meet right. Downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Pressing through the knuckles, sending the tailbone high into the sky, thinking about a flat spine. Good. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze towards the hands. Walk, step, or jump towards the front of your mat to find forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat spine. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, arms down, around, and up. Rise all the way up. Exhale, press the air away. Hands come down to your side. Nice shoulder roll at the bottom if that feels nice. Woo, make you shake it out a little bit. So good. You did it. Let's come down to the mat. Here we go. Inhale, arms down, around, and up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come down flat to the mat. Going through our flow, step the right foot back and the left foot. Here we come down into chaturanga. If you're in full plank, shoot forward, lower on down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. This time, bend those knees really generously. Inhale, look towards the hands, and you can walk your feet forward, but we're just coming into a seated position. So however that works out for you. Nice. Got a ladybug back here. All right, scoot your seat back a little bit on your mat so you can have your legs extended out in front of you. We're gonna do a nice seated twist here. So with your left leg extended out in front of you, this foot flex up towards the sky. Right foot comes up, and you can keep it either right here, right in front of you on the inside of your left knee, or you can take it to the outside of your left knee or left thigh. Whatever your mobility allows is great. So from here, we have a ton of options. We can either just hug our knee in. This is a nice glute and ham stretch right here. So if this feels good to you, hold it right here, that's great. You wanna think about both sits bones being on the ground. So if they're not, take that foot back over to the inside, okay? So this is one great option. Another great option is to have your right hand behind your back and your left elbow coming to the outside of your right knee. And you can keep this hand straight here, or you can bend it up towards the sky, whatever feels nice. If you're here, you wanna think about inhaling and getting really nice and tall, kind of sitting a little bit forward on your sits bones. And on the exhale, initiating the twist from your navel. So your navel sucks back into your spine, really getting nice and firm in your abdominals, and then twisting from that position. That's really protective of our low back. If we don't engage our abs here, we might twist a little bit more than we should be. So when those things are engaged, we're nice and safe. So on every inhale, we're thinking about getting tall. And every exhale, we're thinking about twisting just ever so slightly, a little bit more. Inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, firm abs. Good, one more inhale. Then exhale, come back to center. Let's give that knee a little hug. And then you can release the foot down to meet the left and shake it out. Nice, feels so nice. Okay, this time keeping the right leg straight. Right toes pointed up towards the sky, foot nice and flexed. Left foot can either come to the inside of the right knee or the outside of the right knee, as long as your sits bones are both planted on the ground. From here, you can hug that knee into your chest. Nice glute and hamstring stretch here. Or if you want to plant that foot down, right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. Keep that arm straight or bend it, up to you. Left hand comes behind you or to the side, depending on where your mobility is. If you're not quite back here, don't push it. Just start here maybe. Inhale, get nice and tall, really good posture, thinking like a string is pulling the top of your head towards the sky. And then exhaling, initiating the twist from your navel. Pull the navel into spine, and then twist from there. Nice. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, twist maybe a little bit further. Really use that elbow to press against the knee. Knee presses back against elbow, dynamic opposition. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, rotate. Good, one more inhale here. Exhale, come back to center. Squeeze that knee up. One more hug. And then release it down, shake out those legs. Good, plant those feet on the mat and shift your seat forward. Hug your knees here. Thank you, legs. Hands can come behind your thighs, and let your hands and arms help support you as you roll down one vertebrae at a time on an exhale, all the way down to the mat. All the way, all the way, all the way down. At the bottom, release your head and neck. Adjust yourself on your mat and release your legs down. Coming right into Shavasana, corpse pose. You want to find a position that allows you to completely relax. Sometimes a bolster under the knees is really nice. If you want to put your hands on your belly, that's great. If they want to be palms down or palms up, just kind of see what feels good here today. And once you get here, let's bring our attention to the top of our head. Just doing a quick body scan to make sure that we are letting go of all the tension that we've been holding on to. So starting with the very top of your head, moving down over your face and your eyes, your jaw, your lips and your tongue. Make sure you're not clenching anything in your face. Relax your throat and your trap muscles, your shoulders, your collarbones. Moving down through your arms, your biceps, your elbows, forearms, wrists. And then if there's anything you're holding onto in your hands or your fingers, just let that go. Good. Then thinking about relaxing through your sternum, your chest, your abdominals, your hips, your pelvis. Your glutes and your hamstrings and your quads, they worked really hard today. So make sure they're letting go of all their tension. Just letting your legs flap out to the sides. Release your kneecaps, your calves and your shins, your ankles, the tops of your feet, the soles of your feet, and even the tips of your toes. Just let it all go. And notice how your breath feels in your body now. I invite you to stay here as long as time allows. This pose allows our body to integrate all the work that we've put into it. So if you have time, stay here. But if you're ready to start waking up, just bring some motion back into those fingertips and toes, wiggling them gently. Maybe shifting the hips side to side a little bit, rotating your legs. When you're ready, bring that right palm behind your head. Roll over onto your right side into a fetal position, left palm coming to the floor in front of you. A couple breaths here. One more inhale. On the exhale, press through the left hand, coming up to a seated position, keeping your eyes closed if that feels good to you. And when you're ready, if you're ever ready, go ahead and flutter your eyes open nice and slowly, taking in the color of the room around you, the mat in front of you. Bring your awareness back into the room. And one more big inhale, fill all the way up with air. And sigh it out on the exhale. Well done, my friends. You did it. Nice job today. Thank you for joining me for this practice. Namaste.